jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Once again, you're tuned in to World Combat Sports. Salute to everyone that's in the building. We have another one, of course. Got some good, warm, hot, you know what I'm saying, shots for you to get your Thursday going. You know how we do. First in the building, Alexander. Salute to you, my brother. Appreciate you pulling up as always. Talking way too much World Combat Sports. Yeah, I'm actually about to do away with that intro. I'm in the process of trying to make another one, of course, and make it hit better than that one. You know what I'm saying? But appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. So for this weekend, people, of course, everybody's looking to see if Ryan Garcia is going to go in here and do what he says he was going to do. He's been a garrulous individual, right? Always want to talk. You know, he's been the capper. He's been the one that's part of the Duck Masters Coalition. I mean, he's been on all these lists for the wrong reason. That's all I'm saying. You know, his deal is he's been waiting for a long time to reassert himself because he know he fucked up. Ryan Garcia totally understands that he messed up big time when he started ducking all these fighters and whatever he had going on. You know, looking back at it, he might have had some things going on with Eddie Reynoso that he didn't like. And he might have had some shit on his mind. I can't say whether I'm going to grade it, you know, on a scale of 1 to 5, as far as 5 being the most serious. I'm not going to tell you I'm grading it a 1. You know what I'm saying? I think it was in between. He had some little, you know, things going on or whatever. Coming back to step in the ring with a name like Javier Fortuna further proves that when it comes to boxing, you really don't have to rush in this game. Like Javier Fortuna is a former world champion, and you know he has several losses right now, but yet his name still ring bells when he's stepping in there with Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Dude only had 3 losses. He's been in there with some respectable names, Javier. But this name right here, Ryan Garcia, is a dude that's on the come up, on the rise. And what Ryan Garcia is trying to do is establish himself as the top hitters in the lightweight division. We all know that Javier Fortuna doesn't hold a belt, nor is he considered one of the top 5 fighters in the lightweight division. But being that the pickings are slim, Ryan Garcia is looking at it like, okay, this is an opportunity to show people that I can go in there and fight a tough fighter, you know, that has respect on his name a little bit. You know, Javier Fortuna is 37 victories, 3 defeats, 1 draw with 26 knockouts. But he is 33 years old from the DR. He's a southpaw fighter, 5'6.5", 68.5-inch reach. And he does present much more experience on his body of work than Ryan Garcia. That we can agree on. You know what I'm saying? We can agree on that right there. But when it comes down to his opponent, Ryan Garcia, who has 22 victories in the game, 0 defeats, and 18 knockouts, Ryan Garcia absolutely has more to lose than Javier Fortuna. That is obvious. That is obvious. He has more to lose when it comes to boxing, though. Because right now, I will say that Ryan Garcia is doing pretty well for himself, whatever he got going on the silver screen and in boxing. I don't know if Ryan Garcia is 150% assertive when it comes to this professional hurt business. He gives me the impression that he's trying to walk himself back into the spotlight. He's trying to convince us, the fight fans, that he is the real deal. He's legitimate. And he's looking for a big payday with Tank Davis. Now, a huge part of me, as long as I've been around the sport, I'm looking at this cat, and he is not without talent. It's not like he's empty-handed. But what I see with Ryan Garcia is, does he truly believe he can go in there and beat Gervonta Davis? Do you truly believe? Because there's a lot of people that you're around that's taking an L already. Canelo, your old stablemate, he's took an L. Andy Ruiz took an L. Oscar Valdez took an L. It's a lot of people that you see in boxing that's young in the game, who's coming up, who's on that ladder, that took an L. I'm not sure if Ryan Garcia really cares about taking that L against Gervonta Davis. I don't know, man. He cannot convince me that he's sure that he can go in there if he gets the fight and defeat Gervonta Davis or not. I don't know if he believed that he's seen something when he betted at $20,000 on Rolly Romero, a dude that was absolutely stalking him at one point in time, showing up to his fights, begging and pleading Ryan to step in the ring with him. Ryan never did it. I mean, he called him all sorts of names. You know what I'm saying? All the aspersions that you can imagine in life. Hey, he called Ryan that. And as of recent, Ryan was on camera. Whether it was real or fake, a lot of shit is fake these days. But from what we've seen, that Ryan Garcia bet at Errol Spence Jr., the current unified welterweight champion, 20 stacks. 20 stacks on a fighter that has called him every type of bitch you can imagine, bro. Now, we're going to blame that on mental illness. I'm just saying, bro, like, are we going to blame this on mental illness? His brother was right there with him. He was going to Leonard Ellaby that night. He was just all over the place. I don't know if this guy is just young and dumb. I can't say he's young and dumb because he has 2 daughters. You feel me? I'm just not going to sit up here and say he's too young to even know what he has. I'm not going to disrespect him like that when it comes to his personal life. But when it comes to boxing, I'm just trying to tie it all in. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to put together a slip knot. I'm trying to lock it down. I'm trying to understand if Ryan Garcia will go in here and face Javier Fortuna and put on a damn good showing. Is Javier Fortuna going to show up to win, or is he going to show up and come up second? Because if Javier goes in there, gets the victory against Ryan Garcia, obviously it sets him up for another payday. With who? I have no idea. But for Ryan Garcia, I'm unsure as to where it leads. I'm just assuming, okay, I'm gonna grade this on the lighter side of things. I'm gonna say, Ryan Garcia goes and win. He beats Javier Fortuna, and then potentially we might see him in there with Gervonta Davis. He has the height. He's about the same height as Mario Barrios. It's not like Tank haven't been in the ring with somebody the height of Ryan Garcia. We all know that Mario Barrios was at 140 and not 35. And in my opinion, Mario Barrios is a better boxer between Ryan Garcia, comparing him to Ryan Garcia, in my opinion. So if Gervonta Davis takes this fight, it's a 12-round fight. I just believe that it won't go the distance. I believe that Ryan Garcia chin is exactly what played out when Luke Campbell dropped him. Luke Campbell is not a considerably hard knock puncher, but he was able to drop Ryan Garcia. We're talking about the same Luke Campbell who was dropped by Lomachenko and got up to finish the fight. I think it's only a matter of time before, Ryan Garcia does get big fights. He may come up short against Gervonta, but he's one of those dudes that may be in the same position as Javier Fortuna. He may take several losses, and then he'll call it quits once he gets the movie role, because he has the looks for the silver screen. He has the young looks. And this might be an afterthought a little bit for Ryan Garcia when you look at it. I truly think, give it, he's 23 right now, give it like 3 more years. And it's difficult for me to say that Ryan Garcia still be lacing them up. That's just my opinion, people. Mr. Pass on decks, what's good? What's good with you? Salute. Right side on deck, what's good? Right side. Salute WCS in the chat. Salute to you. But I want to give Ryan Garcia that respect that he's coming in here and putting it all on the line. And he does want that fight with Gervonta Davis. Even though he's called out Gervonta Davis before, and we all know that, and I held him accountable. I put him on the pound-for-pound Duck Masters Coalition. He did it before. He called out Gervonta Davis. And in the meantime, when he fell back into the shadows, it seemed like the lightweight division passed him up. He was looking around and he was seeing people making moves. I mean, he was like, damn. You saw the shit go down with Teofimo Lopez and Kambosos, gone. Teo's up to 140, Kambosos new champion. And then, to see Devin Haney go over there and get the belts from Kambosos. To see Isaac Cruz go in there with Gervonta Davis, go the distance. Then Ryan Garcia want to basically call out these guys who witnessed him doing the same thing that Isaac Cruz did to him. Isaac Cruz didn't fight him. Hold on for a second. So Isaac Cruz get the shot at Tank, goes the distance. They say a star is born overnight. A star has been born. He takes that momentum and he goes in there and fight Yorkis Gamboa next. But prior to, Ryan Garcia said, hey, I want to find some type of wave that I can take this in and reassert myself. I got to find some type of wave. And he attempted to ride the wave of Isaac Cruz. Much taller fighter than Isaac. You know what I'm saying? He feel that he can use his speed. I think it would have been a rough fight for Ryan Garcia with a pit bull, a tenacious pit bull like Cruz. But he wanted to ride that wave, and Isaac said, no, you ain't riding this wave. So he went in there and fought Gamboa. Ryan Garcia felt some type of way like, God damn. These dudes ain't giving me no respect, bro. These dudes ain't giving me no respect. I got to find a way to get my respect back. I have to find a way, after all the capping, for them to take me serious again. This has nothing to do with social media followers, none of that shit. This has something to do with respect when it comes to the sport of boxing. And when people consider you a joke, after turning down Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, Javier Fortuna one time, saying you was going to have a fight with Manny Pacquiao, all those big names, bro, that you was mentioning, it made you seem like you were delirious because you couldn't make right on any of them. Now you done seen that motherfucking tsunami come in and the current changed in the lightweight division. Now you want to jump in the water and swim. Now you feel like it's okay. Like, man, it's all or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I changed trainers. I'm with Joe Goosen. You know what I'm saying? I got to show the people to take me serious so I can get back my popularity in the sport. You know, we're talking about a dude who supposedly have millions of freaking IG followers. But yet, it don't seem like none of them are relevant when it comes to boxing. I remember back in the day when they were saying that Ryan Garcia had all the ladies lined up and they was cheering him on and shit like that. I'm like, you ain't necessarily the Bachelor no more, bro. You got 2 daughters. That female fan base is, I don't know where it's at right now. They might be in the store shopping. They might be making a TikTok. I don't know, but I don't think they ringside, man, waiting on you to fight. Especially coming off that's a Mango Tago fight. Now, one thing I want to mention about the Mango Tago fight, right, is the fact that he's coming off a unanimous decision 12-rounder. But yet he's saying he's going in there and knocking out Javier Fortuna. And Javier Fortuna is pretty much saying the same thing. Javier Fortuna is coming off a win against Rafael Hernandez, and that was the first fight back for him when he fought Jojo Diaz. He went to a unanimous decision. But I believe Javier has the power to hurt Ryan Garcia. I believe Ryan Garcia has the power to potentially hurt Javier Fortuna. I believe equally both fighters are going to have to be smart about this contest. Definitely Ryan Garcia. Definitely Ryan Garcia. Because even though Javier Fortuna's been stopped before, that was way back in 2016. I think it was Jason Sosa, whatever. He stopped him in the 11th round back in 2016. That's been a minute. But for Ryan Garcia, we can take his more recent canvas meeting when he was sunbathing under the lights temporarily, and we can take that as more recent. So the chin, as we know it, it doesn't have that healing process like people think it is. We have all these cliche terms about the chin, but really the chin isn't even a factor. It's only a visual that people see when guys get hit on the jawline, the chin, the temple. It all sounds nice to say, you know what, so-and-so is chinny. They chinny, but really it doesn't have anything to do with the chin. It just has something to do with your brainstem. You know what I'm saying? How stable is your neurological functionality? That's all it has to do with. Because when your brain get jolted like that, everybody's switch is different. Some people switch cut off and immediately come back on like it's thunder outside. Some people switch cut off and you have to goddamn call the customer service. Hello? Yeah, my power's off. And then they say, okay, hold one. And they put you on with the music. And by that time, when they get back to your ass, shit, the referee is giving you that serenade that you don't want. He's waving his hand, back and forth and saying, giving you that hug, that embrace until your corner come over there and get you. Now, you don't want that chaperone. You don't want that. So it's all different. I think Ryan Garcia, man, what we saw with Luke Campbell, if that was a fighter that can take full advantage and wasn't in there to lay back on the ropes and all of a sudden act like they're a scared little hound dog, he would have already had a loss. You know what I'm saying? If that was an Isak Cruz, Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney, if that was a Lomachenko, I don't know if Ryan Garcia would have made it up out that fight with a W. But we'll see. We'll see how he looks at him with Javier Fortuna. I'm not in no way, shape, or form, wishing bad upon Ryan Garcia. It just has to do with him playing around and thinking this is Sesame Street. You know what I'm saying? He just think, he can be goofy. Like when he was knocked down by Luke Campbell, he got on the mic and said, I said, wow, I got knocked down. Oh, wow. I just never felt that way before. Man, I don't know what to think. It's the first time being knocked. You know what I'm saying? He was all quirky and shit. Bro, you're 23 years old. You're a grown ass man. So, act like it. D-Ray in the building. What's good? What's good? Say salute WCS, cooking the casual temporary boxing fans again. Appreciate that, D-Ray. Always a pleasure. I don't know what Trap talking about. Trap. One thing I know about you, Trap, you pick channels to go on and go against everything that they're with the talking topics. I see you. If that's your agenda, have fun. You know what I'm saying? If that's your agenda, have fun. But shout out to Javier Fortuna. You know what I'm saying? He's respectable, 30-year-old fighter that has 43 professional bouts. You have to give him that respect, a southpaw, of course. And I hope it's a really good fight. I hope he's not going in here to lay down. Seriously. I hope he's not going to lay down against this young fighter that's 23 that boxing is trying to raise him up that ladder of one of the best lightweights going right now. Because he's, in my opinion, he's going to be a lightweight for a while. Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, is going to be a lightweight until these belts become loose. I would say the next 2 years, I believe Ryan Garcia is going to be a lightweight. So he's going to be trying to fight for something other than the interim title. Been there, done that. I think he's going to, try to position himself to fight for one of those super titles whenever they're fragmented. We're just waiting to see what happens with that. If Devin Haney is going to, fight Barboza, what other negotiation process? Is he going to vacate and move up to 40? I don't know what's going on, but right now, all the belts are in the ownership of Devin Haney. So we'll see how that works out in the near future. So just keep your eye out for that. And, shout out to Ryan Garcia this weekend and Javier Fortuna. And we look forward to seeing y'all split the ropes and answer the bell. Next, man, I want to talk about Chris Colbert. As y'all know, right? It goes without saying that Hector Garcia, who was 15-0, 10 knockouts, this guy wasn't supposed to do what he did. But it's a sport of boxing. And they always say that you have a puncher's chance to go in there and make a name for yourself. Even though Isaac Cruz didn't hurt Gervonta like that, he still went the distance with the heaviest hitter in the game right now. So it was able to take him to another stratosphere when it comes to boxing. For Chris Colbert, he watched, Hector Garcia across the ring from him. This was supposed to be his opportunity to get the title eliminator fight and go in there and get the win. But in this fight, man, outside of me calling him Mr. Tetris, he suffered a knockdown in the fight, and he was purely outboxed during this matchup. And you had scorecards like 119, 108, 118, 109, 118, 109. You know what I'm saying? And he lost the fight. He looked bad. He even was on record as saying he didn't want to get knocked out. Now, for me, if you're trash talking, it's going to be like a train, right? Don't just hop on there and say, I'm just gonna go to this station right here, and then I'm gonna walk the rest of the way because it's a couple stations I'm not trying to visit because I don't feel too good about that. It might be in bad neighborhoods or whatever. Chris Colbert, from all the trash talking, I felt that he would be able to take that train all the way in, regardless of where it was. You know what I'm saying? Look where he's from. That's why I'm using the train scenario, because it almost like he didn't want to go into the fight. He didn't want to go into the bad neighborhood of Hector Garcia fight and see if he was that dude. It seems like he was a little frightened. I didn't want to get knocked out, but you're a boxer, though. And the reason why you didn't want to go to those other stations, because Hector Garcia was showing you that, yeah, you did too much trash talking during the press conference. Yeah, you made a fool of yourself. And as this fight was playing out in the ring, you was like, oh my God, what's going on? This dude is better than I thought. Shit. Now all of a sudden you become skittish and you say to yourself, man, I'm not willing to take the risk tonight. I'm just going to do enough so I won't get knocked out. And then you get caught, dropped, and you have to come back and try to be in survival mode to finish the fight. With that in his rearview mirror, y'all, and that was at 130 pounds, all right? Super featherweight. Now Chris Colbert sees something like Mikey Garcia. He sees something. Chris Colbert is said to be in talks to fight Frank Martin at 135 pounds. And this is out. This is out. This is not Spencer Crawford. This is out, people. This is out. Chris Colbert saying he's fighting Frank Martin this year. September, October. He's fighting Frank Martin this year, people. At lightweight. Chris Colbert is 16-1, 6 knockouts. That one loss coming just off what I mentioned. Chris said he'll move up and wait and face 27-year-old Martin, who's 16-0, 12 knockouts at 135 pounds. Afterward, Colbert said he would decide whether to remain at lightweight or move back down to super featherweight to go after a world title. He goes on to say, I do the unexpected. I'm dead ass serious, said Chris Colbert to Fight Hype. When asked how serious he is about fighting lightweight Frank Martin, I don't do too much talking on social media unless I know it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to go up to 135, said Colbert. So he's letting us know. He said he don't know yet. He said, I don't know yet. We'll see, said Colbert, when asked if it would be a one-off or him moving up to lightweight for the Martin fight. So basically what they're saying is he's going to basically hold resident up there 135 for a small tenure and then drop back down to 130, or he's going to do a one-off and then take the elevator back down to 130 and try to go for that title. I think a name like Chris Colbert at 135, if he's, goes up there and perform well and he feels strong at that weight, I think his name would do well up there at 135. Seriously. I think his name would do well. It's competition up there for him. So let's see if he want to eat up there 135 more than one plate. Let's see. Now it's time for me to come back. This is Chris Colbert. He said, now it's time for me to come back and do what they think I can do, so they can know that shit wasn't about nothing. He's a good fighter. He's talking about his loss. He's a hell of a fighter, actually, but I see flaws that I can exploit, and that's what I'm going to do when the date gets set, Colbert said about Martin. I don't know what he does really well. He's a good fighter. That's what I can say. He's a good fighter. And come the date, we're going to see who's the better fighter is. He goes on to say, but he actually did good and dominated the kid like he's supposed to do to get him up out of there. When I beat him back to where I belong, and after that, I'll make my decision if I'm going back down to 130 to get my belt, and then defend it a couple of times and come up to 135. Colbert said when asked what a win over Frank does for him. So his GPS, man, he's putting information in there already. He's pretty much being that guy who's prognosticating the forecast, which is great if you can make the destinations. If you can make the destination. If that appointment you're setting way up the road, you have to complete the destination. You have to take the train all the way in this time, Chris. You can't be playing around, bro. He goes on to say it's scary to a lot of people, said Colbert, about a potential clash between him and Martin. No, I just seen him on TV. Let's make it happen. I like that kind of shit. Errol Spence is his promoter, and that's what he's supposed to do, Colbert said when asked about his thoughts on Errol Spence Jr. actively pushing to make the Martin fight against him. To be honest, I like when a fighter has a big backing. Errol Spence is a big backing. Like me, and Errol Spence said, we're going to bet $100,000 and we're going to see who wins. I got $100,000 on myself. You know what my take on other people's money. You know, especially after seeing Ryan Garcia bet a quarter of that, right? I just don't think it's a smart idea, but I don't care, to be honest. If these guys are pretty much trying to convince us, the fans, and a lot of fans don't have the 100,000 just to bet somebody on anything, right? But if he hasn't learned after what Ryan Garcia failed miserably at betting Errol Spence, he failed miserably, and now he want to give he want to bet another bet with Errol Spence, who's 20 up. He's 20 up, dog. So you want him to be 120 up? I mean, come on, what are these lightweights doing? Hey, what are they feeding these dudes that's going to lightweight, dog? You go up to lightweight and you got to check in, and your check-in is making a bet. You know what I'm saying? With somebody, I mean, it's crazy. Let me carry on, man. No, not at all, said Colbert when asked if he felt disrespected by the way he was called out. Me and Errol Spence have history. I said what I said about him, but I always came back to the conclusion that he's a great fighter. No, he's just not a big talker. I know the kid's not a big talker. I'm not a big talker on social media. I wait until we get face to face, and then we talk that shit. Until then, it's all good sportsmanship. And when it comes to the fight, like I told Errol, I'm hungry right now, bro. I'm hungry and taxes are coming around. I'm just training. That fight's going to happen. But I'm getting ready. Yeah, for sure. In my next fight, Colbert said, when asked if he believes the fight with Frank Martin will happen in 2022, I'm back this year in September, October. He's coming. He's going to be the guy. I already told you, I'm going to beat him. It's going to be an easy fight. I'm going to make it look easy. And then everyone is going to want to fight Frank Martin. Nobody wants to fight Frank Martin right now. Everybody is going to want to fight him. Then, said Colbert. All right. The only thing I can say about Chris Colbert, once again, his mouthpiece is pretty much pacing him back into the picture where people can look at him in a different light than what he had against Hector Garcia. You feel me? I mean, he was looking real shady, in that fight with Hector Garcia. His people in his hometown was like, "What the fuck? WTF, man? WTF? What is Chris doing? You changed your name from Lil B Hop, and actual B Hop was saying, okay, I'm glad you changed that name, because you're not representing me." And then he went to prime time. And I'm saying to myself, who authorized that down here in the A? I had to call up prime time and say, hey, you seeing this, bro? He was already trying to, get paperwork together, to have that name never used again by B-Hop. I say, Dion, don't do him like that, bro. He didn't know any better. I don't know what he might have liked you when you had the Jerry curl, the Dion, but don't do the little fella like that just yet, man. Give him an opportunity to become prime time. He might make you proud, that Dion. All right, he might make you proud, dude. All right, man. I give him one more fight, but you just can't do that. You can't take a name like Prime Time and you don't show out under the lights. Shout out to my guy, Mr. TK on deck. What is good? Salute to your brother. Team Williams on deck with it. Fayetteville in the building. Pulling up from Fayetteville. What up, WCS? Team Williams Jr.? You know what it is, man. You know, I got to post the fam up there. Man. Shout out to Team Williams Jr. Fayetteville, man. You know what it is. All love. Shout out to name Junior. You know, much success to what he has going on right now, man. You know it's always that. Sir Senior, what's good with it? Appreciate everyone in the building. So this is where I'm at with Chris Colbert. As people, you know, heard me talk about this guy. I remember some people hit me in the email to my, you know, they always want to use this brother shit all the time. I say, if it really mattered about him being a brother, then y'all should be pretty much correcting him when he was going in on other black fighters, because that was his criticism was very rigid. He was going in on the brothers, not just one brother, not just two brothers, like three brothers who was very popular names in boxing. So all of a sudden, we should show him leniency. We should show Chris Colbert leniency, all because he took the Lima over. Lima over. We have activity. We have movement over. Do you copy? Lima over. He took that L, bro. So I don't know if it's desperation when it comes to Chris Colbert. I don't know if he going up here to face Frank Martin, who we can't say, oh, he's an older guy. No, he's still in his 20s, bro. They're young. Yeah, some holes that he had in there, but a lot of fighters taking a step up fight like Jackson Mariñez, who can box, they're not gonna look their best, especially if they trying to work on some shit themselves. Chris Colbert might see something that me, you, and 1,000 other people don't see, but he feels confident in himself that he can split the ropes and go in there and get that W, bro. So we're going to give him the BOD, the benefit of the doubt, that he sees something. You feel me? He sees something in moving up the lightweight division and facing Frank Martin in this fight, which is, you know, backed by Errol Spence Jr. It's going to be, you know, him taking September, October fight. I'm curious. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm curious to see how this plays out, just like Ryan Garcia and Jair Fortuna. I'm very curious, bro. Shout out to Ghost on deck. What's good? You make it beg, you lay in it. He did it to himself. Ain't no walking back from the path he walked. That's all I'm trying to tell. He walked in there with no chaperone. And we definitely not going to come chaperone to get you out this motherfucker. You're going to have to do it on your own. And you was talking cash money. You was talking cash money when people was down. You was talking cash money. You know what I'm saying? You was just up there just rambling on like you knew your shit was for certain. That you was that dude, you was special, and you was going to continue to keep your undefeated streak alive. You was talking cash shit, dog. You came in there with every possible color that you can have on a uniform and still took the L. How are you going to come up there with a extravagant type attire on? What happened, you probably put too much money in the design of your outfit instead of being in training camp and trying to design a offensive strategic execution plan that would have worked out effectively. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you should have been putting more focus into going to camp, getting in the ring, working on your shit, and trying to separate yourself from the average. Because, you look average in there against Hector Garcia. You look average. That could have been you stepping there with Roger Gutierrez, but it's not. So we definitely, we definitely not going to show you any damn reprieve out here just because you saying, hey, guess what, y'all? I'm going to move to 135 and I'm going to face Frank Martin. Frank Martin is not even established. He's not even established. Just because he's in tow or he's riding shotgun or in the back seat with Errol Spence doesn't mean he's accomplished and he's up there on the same pedestal as Errol Spence. No way, no how. Now, is it a good silhouette for Frank Martin to be boxing in? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's good for him to be in that silhouette of Errol Spence because he got shit popping right now. But Frank Martin doesn't. Frank Martin still has to have a fight. And this was the Frank Martin that called out Devin Haney the fight before, his last. And we all know if that would have been the case, he would have took that L. You take the Devin Haney to win there with George Kambosos and put him in there with Frank Martin that faced Jackson Mariñez, it would have been an L. No doubt about it. That shit would have been an L for Frank Martin. No doubt about it. No hesitation, no blinking of the eyes, twiddling the thumbs, and goddamn looking back and forth like you confused. He would have took that motherfucking L. So y'all stay tuned, man. Y'all stay tuned and see how this shit plays out. That's all I'm saying. When they up, is F everybody. When they fall off, is I'm your brother. No, G, keep it how you kept it. Stand on what you stand on. Don't flip-flop. Yeah, I agree with all that. I agree with all that. When they up, is F everybody. When they fall off, is I'm your brother. No, G, keep it how you kept it. Stand on what you stand on. Don't flip-flop. Damn, that's some real shit. That's some real shit right there, dog. That's that life, lessons that you taught. When you young and you run into the older OGs, man. You know what I'm saying? And they trying to tell you about the people that you hanging out with. Hey, them cats you hanging out with, they gonna change on you. I see something special in it. When you start to, excel in life, them same people that you with right now, they're gonna try to say, well, we ain't trying to go the route you going. You know what I'm saying? Why are you trying to be better? Man, we from the same hood. You don't have to be better, man. Let's all progress together. So what you suggest? Let's keep doing what we doing. It's gonna be dangerous, but let's keep doing, man. Let's stay gang, and let's keep this shit popping. Man, I'm telling you, man, that shit's for real, dog. He said, facts. Frank's not that guy yet. We just seen him struggling there against Jackson, who hadn't fought a southpaw since 2019 and came in 9 days notice. Facts. Factoid. Truth. He took the fight on short notice and still went into the final round with him. You know what I'm saying? Still went into the final round with him. And it just seems like in the 9th round, out of nowhere, Jackson Mariñez just falters. I don't know if he was just running on fumes at the end of the 8th and then went into the 9th, but he was looking good. You know what I'm saying? He was looking very good, very competitive on short notice, man. Just like he looked against Rolly Romero, he was competing. And all of a sudden, man, he broke down in the 9th. And then got finished in the 10th. I'm saying to myself, you was right there at the finish line, man. Jeez, man. I'm like, okay. It is what it is, though. But, I mean, it's tough, man. Frank Martin, he has the physique, but this ain't a bodybuilding or men's physique contest. So I don't know if that's going to change over time. Like, he give me that Gary Russell vibe. Gary Russell, he was always known for his physique like that. Look strong fighter and shit. But I don't know if he's gonna stay at 135. He feel comfortable at 35, or he's gonna go down there and challenge at 130 sooner or later. I don't know, but that muscle, hey, it takes a lot to hold muscle when you're competing. That shit requires oxygen. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you. Not everybody with a physique like that tires out. You know, some people got mad aerobic cardio. They shit is on point that they can keep on, fighting, and you can't blame it on their physique. But muscle is muscle, man. It requires oxygen. If y'all didn't hear the other day, news had broke that Robert Helenius will potentially be the opponent of Deontay Wilder. And, me dealing with YouTube and Facebook, people say what they want to say. I'm going to look at it in a positive mindset, because people are looking at Robert Helenius being a previous sparring partner to Deontay. We can look at it like, okay, both of them know about the other. Both of them know about one another. They've stepped in the ring together, outside and competing under the lights. And now they get to step in and compete. And people are trying to say, well, they're trying to give Deontay a win coming back. I don't think and look at it as such. I think Robert Helenius, coming off 2 wins against Andy Kanaki, is a good opponent for Deontay. We're talking about, for a long time, he was fighting at the highest tier of the heavyweight division. He was the damn spark that made the heavyweight division go boom. We already know the history between him and Tyson Fury. So Robert Helenius has credibility. He sparked Andy Konoski twice. Stopped him. Stopped him the first time, stopped him the second time. But he himself, Robert Helenius, has been to the canvas just like Deontay. So I'm leveling out. I'm being fair. I'm thinking this shit is on point. I think it's a very fair opponent for Deontay Wilder, even though Helenius has not fought on the level of Wilder. That will make it even better for Wilder to come back and put on a good showing against Helenius, who measures up nicely to Deontay, height-wise, reach. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, Deontay has fought on a higher level than Helenius. I like the matchup. It's not somebody that's already, like Dillian White, that he go in there and spark him. People are gonna say, oh well, what do you expect? Tyson Fury did it. Alexander Povetkin did. What do you expect, man? Deontay come back all this time. He picked the weakest link. I'm not satisfied. No, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's going to look for a Klitschko brother. He's fighting a fighter that's active. So, man, give that man a salute. Call it for what it is. We're looking for the Bronze Bomber to come back and light the ring on fire, man. So we can have something to talk about, especially on this YTC. Whether it's good or bad, bro, we want to talk about Deontay Wilder returning back to the square. Because without him in the heavyweight division, it's been a Macy's store during the pandemic. It's been closed down. Ain't shit been happening. None of that. That shit has had signs all up on the window, closed until further notice. Serious. We haven't had no excitement, no foot traffic. Anthony Joshua loses his title. Okay. All right. Fury knocks out Dillian White. Okay. What are we going to expect? What do we expect from that? He waited so long to get a shot at the WBC title, and he gets stopped again. Yeah, so we're really looking forward for the Bronze Bomber to fly back in, man. You know what I'm saying? We call it in the military cast. We're looking for that cast to come in from Alabama, that close air support. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for that cast to come in from Alabama and drop them bombs in the heavyweight division. That's what we're looking for. So, big salute to the fight announcement. I look forward to it, and we'll see how that shit plays out. Wilder should get 2 tune-ups, then get back in the run and showing he's a top 5 heavyweight. I think Alexander, and I know for a fact he's a top 5 heavyweight. He's a top 5 heavyweight right now. If you fought the last man standing, which it was a battle between who was the best 1 and 2 in Tyson Fury. So if Tyson Fury defeats you, how do you go up here and foreclose on Deontay Wilder's resident in the top 5? How do you do that? The heavyweight division is not deep like that. Like I said before, the heavyweight aquatics, man, is shallow. It's very shallow. It's like 4 to 6 feet, bro. You're not swimming in deep water in the heavyweight division. You're not. You can jump in there without a damn life jacket. So if he was stopped in his last fight by Tyson Fury, how does that put him out of the top 5? Who is in front of him? First of all, who? We're talking about top 5. We already know Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder's in there still with no belt. You can put him in number 4 if you want. You know what I'm saying? Just because Daniel Dubois beat Trevor Bryan, is he top 5 all of a sudden? Was Trevor Bryan top 5 when he was WBA regular champion? Did y'all see him as top 5? I don't think so. Who else is top 5? Joe Joyce? How? Did you see how he looked against Christian Hammer? Come on, stop it, bro. Like, how can y'all not have the man in top 5 still? Because most of the heavyweights that's there, besides Tyson Fury, these dudes have losses, man. Who else are we gonna look at that's doing? You know, Joseph Parker has losses. You know, Derek Chisora has losses. Kubrat Pulev have losses. Anthony Joshua have losses. Alexander Usyk, he still has his O, right? You know, some of these big names, it's only a select few, Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury, who have zeros. After that, in the top 5, you can say the Deontay Wilders, you can take the Anthony Joshuas. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people want to put Joe Joyce up there. I don't know. I mean, he looked okay against Christian Hammer, man. I know they're trying to build up Philippe Herkovic. They're just trying to bring up all these dudes that's looking for a chance to make a name for themselves. And especially Andy Ruiz. Is Andy Ruiz a top 5? Possibly, yeah. And he has losses. So it all depends. I don't put Deontay outside the top 5. Not from losing to Tyson Fury. There's no way, bro. I would like Robert as an opponent, but Shelley came out early and said rule out Chisora and Robert. They look at Usyk versus Joshua Winter. Top guys only. They reported too. So you're talking about so let me get this straight. So Deontay is gonna come back and he's not getting Robert Helenius. And he's not getting Chisora. So therefore, they keep reporting that he's getting Robert Helenius. And look, I'm not going to battle trying to figure out which media outlet has credence and who don't. I'm just up here reading the headlines. You know what I'm saying? So if Shelley is saying it's not going to be Robert or Derek Chisora, who's it going to be? Daniel Dubois, a Klitschko brother? Who we looking Lamont? You know, who we looking for? For real, who are we looking for in the heavyweight division? We're gonna get John Ruiz. They need to stop reporting information if it's not even remotely close. I mean, who's giving them the information? Somebody has to be giving the information. They keep on reporting on it. So we'll just see and play it by ear and see what pop. That's all. Deontay had 10 defenses. He is top 5. Yeah, he had 10 defenses, actually 11, but he wasn't successful with the 11th defense. You know what I'm saying? So when he went in there with Tyson Fury on the rematch, that was his 11th defense. But still, it gave this community a lot to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So now that he's out, the crazy part about his story when they end up doing a documentary on Deontay Wilder when he's out the sport, they're gonna go back to when he was winning and how he was dominating and how they was up there saying he ain't fought nobody, but really it was only a limited set of names for him to fight outside of who he already knocked out. And then when he finally stepped in there with Tyson Fury, he drops him in what should have been a win. Let's call it for what it is. Jack reached long count, and in an interview, I told him it changed our relationship. Of course, he didn't like what I said, but I told him I thought it was a long count in the first fight. I thought so. That any other fighter head hit the canvas like that and land on their back, the fight is off. But he wanted to put him on defibrillator and bring him back to life, and it ended the way he did. But when his documentary is written, they're going to talk about how this man was at the top. He was dominating. As far as his physical structure, he was anointed with God-gifted power, which not everybody can say that they have the height and reach of a basketball player, but God blessed them with dynamite in their hands. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to the sport of boxing. But what we're going to understand is when Deontay Wilder was no longer competing and he ended up, crossing the line of departure into the battlefields with Tyson Fury. When he was out of the sport, you had more people up here whining and crying and goddamn complaining because he haven't said anything. But when he was active, all they wanted to do is criticize the fuck out of him and just talk shit all the time. That's how popular. He was in an era where you can say it was idiosyncratic, the way they was talking to the man. It was dysfunctional. He was giving you everything that Tyson was giving you back in the day, but his physical anatomy was different. You know what I'm saying? Tyson had more of that short, compact, stocky build, and people was a bit more enamored with it. But with Deontay, he was awkward. And they used to call him, windmill this, windmill that, but he was still blazing cats, right? When he was out and he was doing the arbitration, when he took his first loss in February of 2020, people wanted to talk. Where's he at? Why is he ain't saying anything? Where is he? Oh my God. Why isn't he speaking? It was just so many people. They wanted to speak. They wanted to hear him say bomb squad. They wanted to talk to him. The same people who's on here criticizing, they wanted to hear his voice, right? So in the meanwhile, Eddie Hearn's up here trying to fake the funk and say undisputed heavyweight is going to happen in August of 2021. Knowing that was a lie. That was a cap. And he was trying to make it seem like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua was going to supersede Deontay Wilder getting his trilogy. And the mere fact that his courage outweighed everything. For him to take the punishment he did in the rematch and to go through court and arbitration, come back, fight the trilogy, go out on his shield. Now people have totally understood what he meant to the sport since he's been out. He fought last October. Not too many people trying to ask where he's at. He showed up here and there in interviews. I saw the recent interview with Deontay in 78 Sports TV, where You know, he was just talking mellow type shit. You know what I'm saying? He was just talking mellow. He was talking about other, you know, ventures he had going on that was satisfying his time. It wasn't even like, you know, just orientated around boxing, man. He was just talking some carefree, son Freud type shit. So no one really knew if he was coming back. I always felt that he was going to come back to boxing, but not until we was at the statue reveal that he said he was coming back and he had unfinished business. So we're going to take it as that. Whoever he comes back with, we'll see what it was what's going down, bro. We'll see what's going down whenever he chooses to come back. That's all I can say. I can't predict anything. None of that. But when all these people was, you know, acting like he had so much money, he was never, no. I didn't see him being built like that. I didn't think his mentality was functioning as such to the point where certain areas it would be haywire. And that one area is where he need the courage to return from his defeat and adversity. I just didn't see it like that. I just felt like, yeah, this is the same dude we saw in arbitration. This is the same boxer who went to court to fight a trilogy from the man who he had took the worst punishment in his boxing career. So you couldn't convince me that certain area within his brain housing group was haywire and misfiring, all because he didn't have the courage to come back to the sport after fighting Tyson Fury. No, I never felt that way at all, man. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it play out in on the horizon. You know, big salute to Team Bomb Squad, the whole team or whatever, and coming back. I know they'll come up with a plan, and we look forward to seeing him grace the square again, bro. That's all I can say. J Ocho on deck. That's good. Fury's going to fight Usyk, Joshua. One to depend on who wins. Of course. Why wouldn't he? It's for the undisputed J Ocho. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? We gotta look. Like I said the other night, Fury fights the winner of Usyk, Joshua. Somebody wins, and Deontay might get his shot at all the crowns. He might. Because everybody in that trilogy, let's extract Tyson Fury, has never stepped in the ring with Deontay Wilder. The good thing about it is we don't know who's going to lose out of Usyk Joshua. But there was always fear that Deontay Wilder was this awkward ass heavyweight and Joshua didn't want to step in the ring with him. In the meantime, freaking Usyk was at cruiserweight doing his thing, and he finally moves up. Now that Deontay's taken 2 losses from a bigger fighter who's still reigning undefeated, it'll be a good fight to see him fight Usyk or Joshua, especially Joshua. I'm not gonna say I hope Joshua wins, you know, against Usyk so he can fight Fury, beat Fury, get the title, so we can have a Deontay Wilder. It sounds very good though. I ain't gonna lie, because it'll take me back to 2018. I was like, shit, they should have fought for the undisputed titles back in 2018. You feel me? That would have been great. That would have been awesome. What if Deontay Wilder won the rematch with Tyson Fury? Would he have been afforded the opportunity once again to step in there with Anthony Joshua? Because they was busy trying to make Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury, but I wonder if Deontay was still reigning defending WBC world champion. Would they have had that same energy, Eddie Hearns and them, to try to make the fight with Wilder Joshua at that time? Who knows, bro? Who knows? Deontay is like EJ. He don't believe in tune-ups. Yeah, man, he showed his heart. That can never be questioned. That can never be questioned. His heart can never be questioned. That can never ever Whenever the conversation comes up, you can never question whether he had heart. He had heart and he had courage to step back in the square with a dude who he'd been in the ring with before. Crazy. You're supposed to call it off when guys sleep like that. That wasn't a knockdown. It was a knockout. We have seen lesser knockdowns stop. They know what they did. He didn't lose that night to me. Yeah, man, he knocked Tyson Fury out. Plain and simple. Deontay Wilder has so much power in boxing that I believe, it came down to, I don't know, it just came down to plotting. If you go back on my lives when I said he had to go in there and his team had to be perfect, everything had to be perfect that night for him to keep his title, what happened? Sabotage. I'm just saying, bro. I know people don't like bringing that up, but I said they are trying to get the title off of Deontay so they can make that heavyweight championship in the UK. The UK wanted to seize the heavyweight division, especially for Undisputed. They wanted that history in this era to be seated over there in the UK. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted, man. That's why when all the damn scandal and everything took place in the rematch, and they was trying to say, well, everything has expired. What? So you're trying to say during the pandemic, for him to step in the ring with Tyson Fury has expired already, like you would throw that fight in the bubble. What bubble is this? Somebody find that bubble, because I want to make an NFT and I want to put that shit up. I'm about to get rich. What bubble was Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder going to fight in without pay-per-view? What bubble was that? Please, somebody enlighten me. So they was trying to say, since the pandemic had ticked away, that fight was no longer available. It was no longer available. Deontay Wilder missed out. And we all, I hear people up here, oh yeah, we finally get Undisputed. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. The haters was out. When I tell you them haters was out there, you knew who they were. They were so loud and boisterous. They had a mouthful of bubble yum, chewing, blowing bubbles. Yeah, I feel good. Deontay is not going to get his shot, man. We got Fury, Joshua. And that shit blew up. That wasn't the case. And unfortunate for Deontay Wilder, he's just one of those names. He's one of those personas that people just didn't respect off the rip without even proving himself like they did Joshua. That's all. Deontay Wilder has to live with that. It's not something that God didn't bless him with. God still blessed the man to achieve what he achieved, the way he achieved it, with the physical structure and starting boxing late. He was blessed in different ways. Joshua was blessed because he was with the protection agency, and they manufactured his title runs with the Charles Martin, Vladimir Klitschko, Joseph Parker. They put him in the protection committee to make sure he rise to the top. And what happened? Jarrell Miller could have been Andy Ruiz, man. Jarrell Miller could have potentially been Andy Ruiz. He could have been the unified heavyweight champion. No doubt about it. Because he had a high punch output. He was a big guy. And he might have got the job done. I don't know. But somebody fucked around and when he got Andy Ruiz, and he fucked the bag up. I say this all the time. When Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua, you could not hear an Anthony Joshua fan breathe. I think they was holding their breath. I said, no, let it out. Exhale, cry, mourn. Look, all them debates I was in on Facebook, all them groups I got kicked out of, when I was over there having them Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua debates, when Anthony Joshua was defeated by Andy Ruiz, not the name Deontay Wilder, these people went in hiding, bro. Jesus Christ. Jack Reese started all of this. I'm telling you. I was having this conversation the other day. I said boxing will always have control over these fights, either from the judges or the referees. I'm not saying the promoter is not going, because they already know who the promoter's favorite is. But boxing will always have that F word involved, either coming from the judges, like Bird and some other judges who've been controversial on more than one occasion, or referees. Period. Referees, bro. Come on, man. Don't let me take you back in time. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me take you back in time. I will, because that's what I do. I have time. You feel me? We all know what that time is. Y'all remember Lawrence Cole, same one who had influenced Errol Spence fight. Y'all remember the fight where he was fighting Billy Joe Saunders, and we had Kasanori Takayama and Edwin Soda, I believe that's his name. Takayama, he had 32 victories, 8 defeats at the time or whatever. And Edwin Sosa was the fighter, of course, that they was picking to win. This was a light fly competition. He was 18-1. And Takayama was giving it back to Soto, man. It was a very good back and forth. And all of a sudden, in the 9th round, Lawrence Cole stops the fight as if to say, oh, yeah, I'm screwing you over, but we got Saul Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders in the main event. We want to hurry up and get there. Take this L. It's not like you don't have any already. You have 8. Take your 9th and you'll be good. You know what I'm saying? It was fucked up. It was fucked up, shawty. Like, as long as the referee is in the ring and you have dang judges, man, we will always have moments where we just shake our head and say, damn, that was messed up. That was a robbery. Just like I love talking about fight that happened with Michael Fox. We all know how that played out, right? Michael Fox went in there against Gabriel Maestre in August of 2021. He ain't been back in the ring since. But Maestre at the time was 3-0. Michael Fox was coming off a loss to Luke's, I forgot his name. All right. He was coming off a UD loss. So he stepped in there with the fighter who was 3-0, y'all. This dude was 3-0. They was going off his Olympic or whatever they was doing with this dude. This dude is old as hell. And he steps in there. And you have more of experienced Michael Fox, who's had like 22 victories. This dude is like in his 30s. He comes in there with fucked up gloves, right? Michael dropped this man in the 2nd round. They go all the way to 12 and they rob him. Not only did he get caught with fucked up gloves, but Maestre dropped him, outboxed him, and they chopped him. They didn't give him the decision. So Team Fox put in a petition to have the shit overturned to a no contest or something like that. They wouldn't even do it, dog. They wouldn't even do it. They kept it the way it was. That's crazy. He robbed that man like that. That'll take a lot out of a fighter now. You know, Fox was coming off a loss and he went in there and actually got a win, and he shined. And they robbed him. And he ain't been back in the ring since. And that was August of last year, bro. Oh, shout out to my guy Dion Washington in the building, man. He said, I called Ruiz beating Joshua that night. My video's still up. Yeah, man. You know, I always thought that Joshua was robotic. He was a mediocre heavyweight. They built him up to be something that he couldn't live up to when it came to the performance factor. We all found that out. He was a robotic fighter. You know, he had his moments. Look, he had his moments, y'all. Like, he had some names on his resume where he was stopping these dudes. He had his moment. And I'm saying to myself, like it's puzzling to me, bro. Like how Joshua has all these names on his record and they're knockouts. You know what I'm saying? They're knockouts, man. He has all these names on his record. I still consider him a mediocre fighter, but he has some names. Like I said, the heavyweight aquatics is shallow. You know what I'm saying? But you look at Joshua's record, he has some names, man. Like, dude, we're talking about the who's who of the heavyweights. The Dillian White. He gave Dillian White his first loss in a non-title fight. He gave Charles Martin his first loss. He gave Dominique Brazil his first loss, bro. He's on a roll. Eric Molina, we're not even gonna mention him. He took a dive too. You know what I'm saying? He went out in the third. Keep it pushing. Vladimir Klitschko got him out of retirement. Won the damn title. Carlos Takam. Joseph Parker, undefeated. Alexander Povetkin at the time only had one loss, bro. Alexander freaking Povetkin had one loss before he stepped in there. Anthony Joshua. And that was way back to the Vladimir Klitschko, back in 2013. Andy Ruiz, he got that back. Got Kubrat Pulev. He took the L to Alexander Usyk. But Joshua got some names on this shit, man. Real talk. But I still say he's a mediocre heavyweight fighter that's been able to progress in a division like that. It's wild. Real talk. It's wild, man. That was nasty business. Hope they give Michael a fight soon. He's been looking for one since. I know, man. He showed out that night. That guy was like 34 years old. That fight. Like, come on, what are we doing? This dude had 3 fights, 3 professional fights, and you fuck over a fighter who has 22 wins? Not only did they fuck him over, they tried to come in the ring with gloves that was signed off by the commission that really you could say it was cheating, hands down, period. That shit was considered cheating. And they allowed him to change gloves, man. Change gloves and come back to the damn nest, only to kick him out that motherfucker when the scorecards was run. It's crazy how that shit worked. They fucked that dude over, man. They fucked him over big time. And then they wouldn't even save face and say, you know what, let's do the honorable thing, because that's not what boxing is. And the dude still has that loss on his record. That's wild, bro. That's freaking wild. I ain't gonna lie, that's wild. Andrew on deck. What's good with it? What's good? Slugger Sam, what's good with you? Salute. Appreciate everyone pulling up. You know what I'm saying? That shit's crazy. That shit is absolutely crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Hold on for a second. Hey, appreciate that info. Somebody sent me a screenshot. Appreciate that info, big dog. Where it shows Maestre filing a grievance. Administrative order is limited to the outcome of August 7, 2021. Appreciate that, Ghost. Wow. That's wow. See, that's the good shit right there. That's the gems. You know, appreciate that, big dog. Like, it's actually the letter that they sent to file a grievance on that decision. It was just all bad, man. It's just all bad. You know what I'm saying? All bad. Shout out L Dub on deck. What's good? Hey, I appreciate that, Ghost. Salute to you, bro. Appreciate that. That's very unfortunate because I don't know Michael like that, but I'm pretty sure he was affected knowing that he was coming off a loss. He wanted to get back in the grain, and that was the fight he did it. And it was one of those fights where it just wasn't just a basic fight. This was a fighter who attempted to cheat with the gloves. They allowed him a reprieve to come back after changing the gloves or change them out in the ring or whatever. And then they robbed him after he dropped the dude in the second round. I mean, come on, man. That's when boxing rears his ugly face. But you know what I'm saying? Boxing rears his ugly face sometime like that. And there's nothing you can do about it. Real talk. But let me see. I talked briefly about this. I'm looking forward for Conor Benn to come back. You know, I'm looking forward to Conor Benn to come back. See how that plays out for him. He's supposed to be possibly fighting Keith Thurman. But Tim Tszyu and Jermell Charlo, he's saying he's gonna stop Jermell Charlo. And then I just asked the listeners to just take a look at his box rec because he's had UDs recently. So for you to come in there and witness the way Charlo was able to stop Brian Castano, a very gamed opponent, you have to think to yourself, your performance against Terrell Goucher, you can't sit up here and think that shit was in the lights. And that's a fight that we want to tune back into for 4 or 5 times. How are you going to take that performance against Goucher and say that Jermell Charlo is the same fighter as him? No, it's not even like that. You come in through the front door and stay there too long with Charlo. We all know sometimes he can be a headhunter. And what's a headhunter to a mannequin? A problem. So you barely have any head movement, and you want to come there and think you're just going to stay. You're going to have problems, man. You're not going to be able to go in there with a headhunter, a possibly headhunter. It depends on, if he chooses to. You might get that Austin Trout Jermell Charlo. You might get the Tony Harrison 1 Jermell Charlo where he was trying to decapitate him. You know what I'm saying? So if Tim Tszyu don't have but limited head movement, that's going to be right in the wheelhouse of Jermell Charlo when they step in the ring. I'm just saying. You come in there acting like you got Pernell Whitaker elusiveness. That's just not the case. That's just not the case, bro. They did that brother wrong. It's impacted a lot of things, still does. Not winning that belt impact his money, legacy, and everything else. Yep. They're not ready for what he about to do tomorrow. But hey, I appreciate y'all for pulling up though. I gotta bounce. Of course. I might be back on later. It all depends. But hey, one love to everyone who pulled up to the avenue and kicked it with WCS for a minute. Y'all continue to support the channel and hit the like button. All right. I'm out.